All right, we're joined on the dais by Rhode Island student-athletes E.C. Matthews, Fats Russell, and Cyril Langevin, and head coach Danny Hurley. Langevin, sorry. First off, we're going to start off with the opening statement from Coach Hurley.
Obviously, just a thrilling game to be a part of the really the Thursday tip-off at kind of high noon, CBS. Reggie Miller, Kevin Harlan, Big 12 Oklahoma, big Power 5 school with one of the most ballyhooed players in the country this year. It was just such a exciting matchup. It was a thrilling game, and obviously, we had our chance at the end of regulation, but we showed the character of these guys, character of the program by the way we responded, in overtime, and made big free throws and put the game away. So, it's about surviving and advancing, and wow, what an exciting game to be a part of.
Before we get to questions for the student athletes, just a reminder that the Rhode Island locker room is open at this time if you want to go down there. With that, let's start off with questions for the Rhode Island student athletes. Please raise your hand and give your name and affiliation prior to asking a question. Right down here in front.
Kobe Cotter, Southern Rhode Island newspapers. Cyril, you're a 55% free throw shooter in your career. You stepped the line 4 times in the last minute and hit 4 free throws. What was going through your mind before you took those shots?
I knew once I hit the 4 free throws, I know that would have sealed the game. So I went to the line with confidence, and as you see, I made 4 free throws.
Right down here in front.
Will Gagan, The Independent. EC, you've talked a lot about coach recruiting you and talking about this stage. What did it feel like to sort of live that dream today and hit some big shots on the big stage?
This is what you dream about, when you're a little kid, you playing basketball outside, waking up early in the morning and to do it, on the biggest stage, it's an honor. And just to be a part of making big shots for my teammates, it doesn't get better than that.
Hi, Dan. Congratulations. Talk a little bit about what you wanted to do with Trey Young today and how you were able to do it for extended periods.
Yeah, for the players.
Right, so
for the players.
Talk about what we're trying to do with the ball screen.
First I'm just going to say Trey Young's a very good player. But for the ball screen, we just try to contain him the whole time. We didn't want to change our style of play and not be aggressive against him just because who he is. So we just try to contain him, and it worked. So.
Nicole Lattirulo, URI News. Fats, you were put in the second half. They needed you on offense. At one point, you were averaging 1 point per minute. Can you walk me through that?
I just try to get in and give the team whatever they need. We have a lot of great seniors on this team, so my role hasn't been as big as I may have wanted it to be. But I just try to make an impact every time I get in the game for my teammates.
Right down here.
Bill Koch with the Providence Journal. EC, there are probably other teams that you played on here where you get 2 chances to win at the end of regulation, it rims out, and maybe in overtime it doesn't go your way. Why is this group so different this year?
Man, we're old. Coach Hurley calls us old and stale, but that means we're wise. And we played a lot of games, been in a lot of tough games, and we was very resilient. We tried to. Coach Hurley was calm, so that means we were calm, and we just had to make shots. And like I said, we made big shots.
Right down here in the second row.
Bob Ford, Philadelphia Inquirer. Fats, you never know in the flow of a game how much opportunity you're going to get, especially as a freshman. When you did get those opportunities, what gives you the confidence? You're checking maybe a guy who's the National Player of the Year out there.
Our coaching staff has a lot of confidence in me. So every time I get in a game, they don't tell me not to be myself. They actually tell me to be myself. So myself is confident. So that's really where the confidence comes from, my coach staff and my teammates. So.
Right down here in the front, second row.
EC, how much does it help when you have been there before, when you've been on this stage?
It helps a lot, older guys, we tend to win games, and when we got a lot of talent, coming off the bench and younger guys stepping up, it makes it even better. So, man, it was just a great win, and it was a lot of fun.
Right here in the front.
Cyril, obviously everyone remembers the way you played against Oregon last year in the NCAAs. How nice was it to be back out on the court on the biggest stage in the NCAAs and perform the way you did again?
I mean, it feels great to be back, you know. It's March Madness, so you got to come out and give it your all. So that's what I did tonight. Hopefully we could keep advancing.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Right down here in the front.
With all due respects, did you three guys say that Coach Hurley was calm? Have you met him?
Oh, we know.
Can one of you just say something besides laughing?
Right now?
I mean, he's a pretty animated guy, but you know, like his demeanor and what he was saying to us in timeouts, it was very calm, and we got the message, and we went out of there, and you know, we were calm. So.
Kevin Gorman, Tribune Review here in Pittsburgh. EC, you just mentioned about his demeanor in timeouts back here. What was the message at the end of the regulation? What was the message going into overtime from Coach Hurley during those timeouts after they had tied the game and sent it to OT?
I mean, we knew we had another 5, you know, to play, and we felt confident. We thought, you know, we could still win a game. And like I said, you know, he was very focused. We was locked in, and you know, we stick to the game plan. And like I said, we had to make, you know, big shots, get stops down the end, down the stretch, and we did that.
EC, last year when you guys were here, you shot the ball from 3 very well in the 3 games in the A-10 tournament. First half, they weren't necessarily falling. What changed in the second half and in the overtime?
Just keep shooting. We got a lot of shooters, and it's hard to, you know, it's hard for us to miss it and, you know, stop shooting. So just keep shooting the ball, and, you know, after a while, you know, it tends to go in, and I think that really opened up the floor for, you know, players to make, you know, plays.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Rhode Island head coach Dan Hurley, right down here in front.
No, not him.
I'm sorry.
I just didn't want him first.
Oh, Z?
Yeah, and I didn't want him first. Thank you.
You go.
Thank you.
Bob Ford from Philly. Takes guts to stick with a freshman when he gets a little bit of a hot hand going in a game as big as this. Is that just because you know the kid, or you had a hot hand?
You know, if he wasn't on such a senior-laden team, especially at the guard spot, you know, I think he would have been up for Rookie of the Year in our conference, and he would have been one of the best freshman guards in the country. When E.C. Matthews was hurt in our non-conference schedule, you know, some of our biggest wins of the year, Seton Hall at Barclays without E.C. or Cyril, and Providence at home without E.C. or Cyril, you know, he was electrifying and put on similar performances. And you know, today, you know, we had some text message exchanges last night. You know, he's a competitive kid. And what I told him last year, you know, I told him when we recruited him, the only point guard that I saw that was better than him at the Peach Jam last year was Trey Young, and he told me I was wrong about that, and that he was gonna prove me wrong today. And you know, he put on a show.
Adam.
Dan, your mom and dad are behind the bench there. Just what does it mean to have them there? And did you talk to your dad before the game? Did he give you any tips or anything before the game?
Yeah, I mean, they drove up. I think they drove halfway, kind of like what we did with the bus. They kind of broke the drive up, and it's always you know, thrilling and emotional for me to coach. You know, with my dad there, my mother there, but also, you know, with my wife Andrea there, and my 2 sons Danny and Andrew. You know, we create such a family atmosphere around our program that, you know, just such a great feeling.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. I think Trey had 4 or 5 shots in the first half. Were you pleased with that element, the way you limited his shots? He got more the longer the game went, but you really seemed to limit his attempts.
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously 4 for 4. Our goal going into the game, it wasn't necessarily to try to keep him under a certain scoring number. it was about field goal attempts. And, through regulation, our goal was to keep them to 15 shots or less. We felt like, if we could funnel the ball to those others enough, that we'd have a great chance to win. And he ended up taking 18 shots, with the extra 5 minutes. So, we knew he would make some incredibly tough shots. The kid has no weakness, and there's going to be obviously an amazing NBA career ahead of him. And it was a pleasure to I played against Allen Iverson and Ray Allen in college and Alonzo Mourning. It's sometimes it's a pleasure to be on the court, with a guy, that good and that great and compete against him. But I'm proud of the way our guys rose to the challenge.
First guy down in front here.
Dan, you see the 2 shots at the end of regulation, rim out right in front of your bench. You know that you're going to have to play 5 more minutes to win this one. Can you take us inside your huddle, what you were saying to the guys and what the guys were saying to each other there?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of, kind of like, wry smiles, kind of Stan was hitting his leg, Doughton was kind of rolling his eyes. There was no panic. I mean, it's amazing to play in this tournament. The atmosphere was so great in here, playing Oklahoma against Trey Young again, on this huge stage. I mean, the guys looked like they were excited to play 5 more minutes. I mean, we were having a great time out there. And, we've won a lot this year. We've only lost 7 games, and, 5 of those games were games we could have won. So we're used to winning, and we expected to win, coming out of the overtime.
Dan, what did it mean for you to see EC hit those big shots there in a huge game?
That was everything to me. It's like, when the one, going right, went up in the air. It's almost like you're saying to the basketball gods, like, please take care of this guy. Everything he's been through with the injuries and, the heart that kid has and the relationship that he has, with all of us, the coaches, the players, just how we've all kind of grown together. And then for him to have that, that moment that he just deserves more than any college player in the country. It just that's like heartwarming right there. I mean, it's beyond even feeling good about winning. It's just he deserved that.
Right over here, 3rd row.
Adam Lindner, the Duquesne Duke. What does it mean to represent the Atlantic 10 conference amongst such like powerhouse programs from like bigger conferences here on a national stage?
Yeah, I mean, it's great for our league. We have a great conference. Bonnie's the other day with a great win. Davidson really, since conference play, has played like an NCAA tournament team year in and year out. It's a great conference. We always show well in the NCAA tournament, and we're 2-0 right now in the conference. It's a rugged league, that's built to play these rugged, tough games. And it's an underrated league, and you wish we would get more respect. And hopefully, if we keep winning, that'll keep happening for our league.
Right here in the front.
Dan, we've talked a lot about firsts this year for this group. You're the first URI coach now to win an NCAA game in multiple tournaments. Your thoughts on that accomplishment?
These, EC, Jared Terrell, Jarvis Garrett, they're responsible, for this. Hassan Martin, Karan Iverson, these guys are responsible for, for the historic season. The support, from Thor Bjorn, the way he's put and Dave Dooley, the way that they've grown the program and given us the resources to take it to another level. It's a reflection on the fan base, and that was an amazing crowd today in Pittsburgh for us, just to see this thing kind of grow to what it's become. But it all emanates, from those guys. This is about them and what they've been able to do in building this special thing.
Right down here in the front.
Danny, does Young's quickness with the ball remind you of anybody in your family?
Yeah, this. I think he had a number 11 on out there, so that was a little eerie. I don't think Bob could shoot like that. The way he sees the floor, the way he's just with how daring he is. He just never stops coming at you. His facial expression rarely changes. I made the big mistake of watching their early season games first. I watched that Wichita State game first, and I didn't sleep for a day and a half. But yeah, you're watching. One of the I coached the J.R. Smiths and the Tristan Thompsons as a high school coach, and played. He's as special as anyone I've ever been on the court with.
Last question for Coach, down here in the front.
John McKelvey with the Norman Transcript. You mentioned watching them early in the season. How much did they change from when they were early in the season to now?
They obviously were making more shots, around Trey earlier in the season. 4 for 20 from 3. Obviously, we were trying to just stretch out that ball screens, and hold the lane off of the, 1 or 2 non-shooters that they kind of had in the game, at all times. It was hard to leave, James or McGusty on those ball screen rolls. But they're, sometimes the 3s and 4s. When Manic wasn't in there, we were able to kind of string him out in ball screens and then hold the paint with the roller off of the 1 or 2 non-shooters that they had in the game. So I think just a lack of shooting allows you to kind of gang up on Trey.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much.
And once again, the Rhode Island locker room is open at this time. All right, we're joined by Oklahoma student athletes Jamani Mcneese and Trey Young, as well as head coach Lon Kruger. Coach Kruger, if you could give an opening statement, and then we'll go to questions for the student athletes.
Obviously, a hard-fought game. I thought guys on both sides really battled it. I thought our guys late there did a good job of getting it, get some stops and getting it into overtime. And, of course, when you don't win a game anytime, it's disappointing. But when it's the last game of the year, NCAA tournament, obviously it makes it a little bit more difficult. But proud of the guys. They've battled a lot of things on the year, and disappointing when it comes to an end. But congratulations to Coach Hurley and their club. I thought they had a fantastic season and did things they needed to do in overtime to win the game today.
All right, questions for the student athletes. And once again, please give your name and affiliation when you ask a question. Right down here.
Andrea Adelson, ESPN.com. Trey, just your thoughts on the way this game ended and the season ended for you guys.
I mean, it's tough. You never want it to end. I'm proud of my team, the way we fought. We were down 7 with about 2 minutes left, and the way we fought back and got back in the game and forced it into overtime was just effort. And I'm proud of my team for just getting to that point. We fought hard to the end. I mean, that's a good Rhode Island team we played today, and they did a good job of executing their stuff.
Dana, right here.
Dana O'Neill, The Athletic. Trey, if you could just summarize this season in a few words, I mean, how would you even explain it?
I mean, I'd summarize this season as just different. I mean, this season was a roller coaster. I mean, starting off hot, cooling down, winning a few games, and going back to losing. I mean, it was just a roller coaster. But I mean, it's definitely tough. Like I said, you never want to end, but this is the biggest stage of college basketball. Like I said, any team is capable of winning games. We were capable of winning that game. Rhode Island was capable. I mean, every team is capable of winning games in this tournament, and we just came up a little bit short.
Right down here in the front.
Trey, they did a good job of not letting you Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. They did a good job of not letting you shoot a lot. I think you had 4 or 5 shots in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
What were they doing to not let you shoot much in the first half, and then you got more attempts the later the game went?
I think they did a good job of, closing in and gapping my space. But when they were doing that, I was just trying to find my teammates, trying to get my teammates involved and stuff like that. Picked up two calls and 2 offensive fouls. But I mean that's how it is. I just had to get everybody involved.
Jeff.
Trey, Jeff Goodman with ESPN. You don't show a lot of emotion. What was it like for you back in that locker room after you walked in with your teammates?
I was just trying to pick everybody's heads up. I mean, this is a young group, a young team, only with 1 senior, and I went up to Kadeem and thanked Kadeem for all that he did this year for me and for this team. I mean, he's one of our biggest leaders on our team, and I'm proud of the way he handled himself this year. But this team is going to be, this team is young. I mean, this is a good experience. From last year only winning 11 games to coming into the NCAA tournament is a big jump. So I can't wait to see the jump from now to next year.
Trey, Pat 40 from Yahoo Sports. What will go into your decision-making process of whether you want to play more college basketball or try for the NBA?
Right now, I'm not worried about that. Right now, my main focus is my teammates. Those are my brothers, and those are the people I care about most right now. And it's tough after a loss thinking about anything else besides that. But I mean, when we get back, later this week, I'll sit down with my family. We'll discuss that. And but right now, that's not my main focus. My main focus is my teammates.
Right down here in front.
John McKelvey with the Norman Transcript. Trey, how have you changed with how you respond to losses? Because I remember a year ago or 2 years ago after the state championship and how tough that was for you.
Yeah, I hate losing. And that's not in my DNA. Is losing. And I left everything I could, and I know my teammates did as well. Left everything they could out on that floor. But I've had to mature. Like I've said all season, this is all the process. This is all just a chapter in my book. I mean, this season, that chapter is closed now. I got to move on to, whatever's next for me. And this is just all a process, and I've matured a lot.
Right here.
Yeah, Barry Trammell. Jimani, can you talk about the damage you and Christian did inside Christian Doolittle? You guys, no one was outside of Trey was hitting any 3-pointers. You guys got a lot of efficiency from the paint. What were you guys doing to make that work?
Me and Do, we were just trying to crash the boards and get like second shots. We weren't making all our threes in the game, so we just tried to pound it inside a little bit.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Thank you, gentlemen. Questions for Coach Kruger? Right down here in the front.
Lon, was today just sort of the story of the season the last couple of months? If everybody's, I think you went 1 for 11 from 3-point range outside of Trey. Hard for you guys to win shooting like that.
This team all year has been success has been pretty closely tied to making shots, and I guess today would represent that. I thought, again, the fight defensively, the fight on the boards, all that was good. Still didn't make shots that we needed to create a little bit of a gap.
In overtime, you'd fought back to get it into overtime, and you got a lead in overtime, but you couldn't get anything going offensively. I don't think you made a basket until the game was sort of out of hand. What happened to your offense in overtime to where you stagnated the game?
We had back-to-back empty possessions during that time, which you can't afford to do in overtime. We turned it over a couple of times, a couple of tough threes. Didn't have the possessions that you have to have for sure.
Right over here.
Kobe Cotter, Southern Rhode Island newspapers. Lon, what did you see from your guys' defense? Did they do anything in particular that gave you guys fits, or was it more just about not making shots?
About our defense or their defense? Yeah. Well, they're good defensively. They've taken a lot of pride in their defense all year long. They do a good job. Coach Hurley does a great job. They've got athletic, rangy guys on the perimeter that fight it hard. So no, they're good. They're good defensively.
Did you think Trey held up pretty well in terms of maintaining his composure, maintaining his decision-making, shot selection, all those things? How'd you evaluate that all day?
Yeah, he's had obviously an interesting year. Probably as interesting as anyone can have, and he's battled well all year long. And again today, I thought he got going downhill a little bit there in the second half, and had some good opportunities, and obviously a couple of fouls in the first half kind of set him back a little bit, but he battled it well. He's fought it well all year.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And once again, the Oklahoma locker room is open. So if you guys want to swing over there, talk to them. All the press conferences from yesterday as well as today can be found at the new NCAA Digital Media Hub, which can be found at ncaa.com/Media Hub.